All right, so someone asked me, how much do I make a year? To answer that question, so in this part of the video, we're going to go ahead and talk about a quick Q&A. So we're going to go and start off with a few of the questions that I had posted up earlier during the week of ask us some questions on Instagram. So the first question is, what's the hardest car to detail? And in my opinion, the hardest cars right off the bat are going to be G-Wagons, Jeeps, and a lot of like the Lamborghini, let's just say like an Aventador. When you have a lot of strategic areas or a Huracan STO, there's a lot of tight areas. If you're to go to the polish, you need a lot of 3-inch, 2-inch, 1-inch areas because they're like sharp and small areas. So those, I would say exotics, G-Wagons, and Jeeps, and like Hummers, those are just big and they're just so like boxy. There's a lot of lines, a lot of curves. So those are definitely complicated. It says, how many cars do an average and how many people per vehicle? So this question is kind of how many cars do we do average a day? It can fluctuate on the shop end. If at the shop, we can do one car, but that one car can be a full paint correction. And then in other days, we can have 5, 6, 7 cars, but they're all like mini details. So for those, they're always going to be a little different. And then we have ones at our dealership. So those dealerships like Porsche and Mercedes, we can go through on our service side. We can go over like, 50, 60 cars just in the service. And then on the other end, on our photos and, sold vehicles, we can do 10, 15, 20 cars. So it varies, definitely. And to add on top of that, the following question was how many people per vehicle? I typically go ahead and do one person per vehicle to do the detail. Sometimes we tag team and we do 2 if it's a full paint correction. So that's more or less how much I need, how many people. The other question is, what is your go-to wheel cleaner? My 2 favorite brands are Shine Supply and CleanTech. CleanTech is for my day-to-day use, and I will go ahead and use Shine Supply, Wise Guy, and Cool Guy for more of the really neglected. Let's say on a BMW Mercedes, when I want to make it bleed and remove all that iron, that's when I use Shine Supply. And for more of my day-to-day, I use CleanTech, Breaker, and Knockout. The other question is, how do we keep up with towels? So we have a big washing machine at the dealers where we just go ahead and put section by section into those, and we do it either in the morning or at the night. So that way we always have fresh, clean towels. So we have a big bin of just dirty, and then we throw them all in there, and then we clean them all out, sort them out. So that's that. Here at the shop, we will go ahead and have another bin, sinks set up, and actually my grandpa picks it up, and he pretty much cleans up for us, and then he brings us back some fresh towels. So he's always constantly on that. And then the dealership side, the guys are always on top of that also. So this question is thoughts on acidic wheel cleaners. Acidic wheel cleaners are awesome when you know how to properly use them, because if you go ahead and leave them on a very hot wheel or a wheel that you haven't gone ahead and cleaned and you just let sit there for quite some time and forget it, that right there is where you can cause some problems. And also on certain finishes, like let's say on raw materials. So let's say an HRE or a BBS wheel or a billet wheel, you do not want to put acid unless you're going to go ahead and polish it. To not get too far deep into it, there's called an acid wash. So before you actually detail those type of wheels, you can strip it all down like that and then polish it, and then you get that shine back. But if you put acid on those wheels, or if not anodized, you ruin the finish. So keep in mind that. Do not want to be go ahead and putting acid on wheels you do not know if they're OEM or not. This question is, how long did it take you to be able to get at least 2 cars a day? I would say probably within after the year, going on the 2-year mark, that's when I was able to get at least 2 cars a day. But I was, scattered down the week. Some day would just be 1, but then the other day would be 3 cars. So I would say more in the 2 range, 2 years of being in business. This is a very interesting question because it varies on my mood. But the question is, what is your favorite song to detail to? And it all depends, because sometimes I like listening to rap. Sometimes I like listening to like Suicide Boys. And some days I like listening to like Mexican music. And then some other days I like to listen to like podcasts. So it always fluctuates. So I don't really have specific favorite detail to detail to. So yeah. But to add on that, should I add a public playlist so that way you guys can just always see what MJ is always listening to? Because that's something I can do on, I think it's Spotify, right?
Or Apple Music.
Yeah, Apple Music, one of those two. This question is, do you ever use iron remover? If so, in what situations do you use it? I never see you use it. That's why I'm asking. So in my videos, I don't like to go ahead and put like everything because I want to get straight to the point when we're going ahead and washing the process. But I use iron removers on just about every ceramic full detail that we're doing, and on white cars specifically, because that's when you see all the rust particles on there. So it's going to save our lives a lot easier. But that's when I'll use it. You see a lot of the yellow specks. They're like yellow, blackish specks on white vehicles. You'll see them a lot easier. That right there is when you would use an iron remover. This guy asked, what is the longest durability you offer for ceramic coatings? The longest that I would typically say safely, if you're properly maintaining it, 3 to 5 years. Anything after that, to me, in my opinion, I can't guarantee for that long, other than the 5-year mark, if you're not frequently maintaining it with us. Because quite frankly, if you're not maintaining it and you're just going to let all the contamination build back up, you're not washing it properly, it's going to degrade the coating. Just because you have a ceramic coating does not mean that you cannot just, let it be all dirty and it's going to be fine. No, it's going to go ahead and hinder the finish, and it's not lasted long. So you want to go ahead and do like a yearly checkup, clay barring it, reinstalling something, so that way it always is at its tip-top shape. So there's a common question that a lot of people ask me also is, how do you make good money, or what is it the best way to go ahead and do detailing? And quite frankly, it's ultimately up to you. You got to go ahead and decide, hey, what is it that I am really good at? You guys got to go ahead and ask that question and actually do it while you're detailing. What is, if you do interiors, if you do exteriors, if you do, a very clean wash, it's okay, and that's your specialty. So I always see it like there's three aspects of detailing. One, your car wash guy that gets in and out, vacuums real good, but doesn't really do any polishing or ceramic coatings. Then you have your all-around guy, and that guy is going to go ahead and wash, clay, polish, and he potentially might know how to do some ceramic coatings. Then you have your specialty guys. Those guys are not car washing every day. They are not typically mobile. They're going to be at a shop, and those guys are at a higher level because they've pretty done it for several years. So it all varies on what you really like, but personally with me, with my years of experience, I've noticed that with my business, I'm able to leverage it and being able to delegate work to other people and manage the quality control. So I'm really good at expanding and social media stuff. So it helps me going ahead and hire more people into our team and to handle all the extra work. So if you personally do really good ceramic coatings, stick to that. But you have to know over the years of just work. So it's going to take time. And it took me 8 years to figure out what I really, really, really am good at, which is social media and personally getting the work, overseeing it, and going with my employees. Sometimes I just let it back and I let them do their job. And since they've already been so well informed of how to do things, I just go ahead and see the final product. So that would be a little bit easier. But don't get wrong, I still love detailing, so I still get involved also. So that's going to pretty much wrap up a few of the questions that I wanted to answer. If you guys have any more questions you guys want to ask me, go ahead and leave it down in the comments so that way we'll go ahead and answer it on our next video. back, guys, to another good video. Today here we have at the shop a 911 Carrera T. This one right here is like a baby version of a GT3. So it's gonna have on the interior the upgraded carbon bucket seats, a rear seat delete. These handles are like lightweight handles. So if you look over here on the GT3, they removed the actual handle to save some weight. This is more of a tab, just when it comes down to like the GT3 RSs and all the other ones. So this one is already partially clear broad, and the back half we're gonna go ahead and lightly polish it, so that way we can go ahead and have it ready for when it gets sold. And to add on to everything else that we have for this week that we haven't been pretty much updating you guys on, Porsche, we've been adding more workers on there, we've been organizing a lot more. Mercedes still rolling on the dealership side, and then we have on this side we have a few cars in the stable that we need to get dialed in also. So this is the M3 comp, but this one is beautifully spec'd with the stealth PPF on there. It has carbon bucket seats also, but that interior is orange. Then we have this beautiful Lamborghini Urus. Looks to be like a Leonardo gray chalk pink. And that one has a beautiful yellow interior with every carbon fiber option that you can possibly get. And then that one's sitting on some beautiful wheels. Not too sure what the wheels are, but I'm going to show you right here. These things right here. The way it's sitting is beautiful. I would choose this over this M3, but there's one thing on this M3 that has a little boost. So we're going to go ahead and get it fixed. This. No good, doesn't look good, but we're going to get that fixed so that way we're going to get it ready to be sold. So that's what we have here at the shop. Matthew already banged out a couple cars, and if I'm not mistaken, I forgot to mention this. We went ahead and wrapped up this 911R. So this 911R, you have to go ahead and buy the 918. So if you got access to the 918 Spider, you can go ahead and be granted this 911R. So this right here is a GT3, but a very limited GT3. Touring, sorry. So this one has the same interior of that one, same seats, same characteristics, but more on the GT3 level of specs. So that one was pretty rare. This was Matthew on their PPF side, Hyper House. And then we have the Turbo S. He's going to be doing a full PPF, color PPF on that one. So we're going to go ahead and dial that one in for a very VIP client that he has. So nonetheless, that's here an update at the shop. We're going to go ahead and start getting this one dialed in. And then if there's anything else, we're going to go ahead and add it to the rest of it.